Welcome to Tuesday Newsday. If you're new here, this is a weekly video I do to talk about everything that happened this week so you can get all the things VR that are either newsable or memeable in one place. This is June 18th, 2019. To start off this episode, let's get into Oculus. This hasn't exactly been the best week for the company, as they've gotten into some hot water over a few things. Starting with the developer of Virtual Desktop, Guy Godin, coming out on Twitter to tell the world that a key feature he implemented is being shut down by Oculus. This feature is, of course, being able to stream Steam VR games to the Oculus Quest. And I have already said my piece on this whole situation, but generally the community got really up in arms about this. It seems like everywhere I look, people are slightly more skeptical of decisions Oculus makes and has made in the past. And I've seen more and more people be completely anti-Oculus at this point. This certainly is not me, at least not at this point, but this isn't about me. It's about the news. Oculus being under fire for shutting down Guy's feature made the whole situation with Pavlov get out of hand very quickly. And this was going to be a traditional news section, but the whole thing just called for a meme break. It's just too funny what actually went down because nothing actually went down. The end result is the same, but basically Dave, the developer of Pavlov, announced a few weeks ago that the game was coming to Oculus Quest. Obviously, this created huge buzz, and there have actually been builds ready to play and available to public to sideload on the Quest. Then, hot off the heels of the Virtual Desktop debacle, Dave announces on Twitter, "Just want to give an update that Pavlov VR won't be available in the Oculus Quest store for reasons out of my control. However, it will be always available as a sideloaded app and inside Quest." And that's when the whole community blew up. Turns out, from what I understand since deleted Discord messages, Dave sent Pavlov off to be officially approved by Oculus to be put in the Quest store and didn't get a reply for longer than he had expected. I mean, it's not like there was any event going on at the time that would occupy Oculus or anything. Like, none at all. So while I sense there are further tensions beyond what we just saw publicly, it seems like it was kind of a situation like your girl texting you and you took longer than 10 minutes to reply, and she calls off the relationship and says you're just like all the other boys. Totally not speaking from personal experience. Yeah, so it's just really to show off how out of hand things can get when intentions aren't made clear, expectations aren't met, and irrational tweets are made. Like I said, it does seem like there are things that none of us can actually see on both sides of this conversation, so I'll just leave this one here at a draw. Everyone wins and nothing actually happened except for drama for a day. VR Cover, a brand that I have personally vouched for as I've loved their products for my CV1 for a while now, seems to have a little situation on their hands. We started to see complaints that the VR cover for the Oculus Quest seemed to not fit correctly and it pops out very easily. People who have ordered the VR cover for the Quest and haven't had their unit ship yet seem to have their orders pushed until August. Apparently there was a minor tweak on Oculus' side of manufacturing that VR cover was not made aware of, or something happened causing an issue with the molds fitting correctly. So a new mold is being created that should be ready by August. This is a pretty interesting situation because I can imagine it isn't a cheap mess up for a VR cover and could have been remedied with some communication, but I wasn't there for any conversation had, so I'll leave it at that. Beat Sabre is getting a new mode for the Oculus Quest and it looks pretty freaking sweet. Now you can play Beat Sabre in a 360-degree mode and it honestly looks like an entirely different game. I'm excited to see new modes for a game that's already extremely popular in VR, but I certainly do hope this trickles upstream to PC VR as well. I know that the custom track community could go absolutely insane with this new mode. The HP Reverb, a favorite among the VR community, most notably for sim-styled games, is said to finally be back in stock in July after a few weeks of being sold out everywhere. This is speculation, but given the recent problems we have seen surface with some users reporting display issues, perhaps this was maybe an effort to sort out some of the manufacturing issues? Meme break. Confirmed here on Tuesday Newsday, virtual reality causes domestic violence. We need regulation now. Okay, not really, but I found this post hilarious. Looks like a couple were in the same room while one of them was playing Super Hot, and one of the two absolutely falcon punched the shit out of their significant other right in the eye. Looks like everyone was alright and ended up being really funny, but seriously guys, make sure you're watching your surroundings. It would be awful to accidentally roundhouse kick your neighbor's dog onto the next planet while showing them VR. I do have to wonder if that touch controller is okay though. Okay, and because I embarrassingly left this out on last week's episode, which is ironic because Lone Echo is one of my favorite games I've ever played, let alone being my favorite VR game, Lone Echo 2 has some massive new details from E3. Supposedly, we're following the events of Echo 1, which is expected, but the storyline and world is supposed to be around 50% larger than its predecessor, which means it's going to be pretty big. Lone Echo 1 lasted around 7 hours for me, so if we're talking about the story mode, we can expect an 11 to 12 hour game, which isn't too bad considering how insanely immersive the world is. We get to see a couple new alien creatures, and of course we get the beautiful world building that Ready at Dawn has spent the past few years developing. Top of my list for sure. And that's this week's news. Make sure to tune in next week for Tuesday Newsday. Maybe we'll have some exciting things regarding Valve Index shipping. So guys, like this if you want more of this, subscribe if you need it, and hit that bell if you can't live without it. I'll be here next Tuesday, and I'd love to see you here as well. Thrill out.